Sometimes we look at everyone else and think they just don't understand. Everyone has challenges. In youth ministry, we always get blamed for everything. You know what I'm saying? There's another hole in the wall. It was the youth ministry. It's time we reunited a brotherhood of youth pastors and sisterhood of youth pastors and said it's the women's ministry that's doing this. I keep trying to blame the women's ministry for the holes in the wall and the tyre tread marks leaving the car park. I've got to tell you this story. I mean, you know, there are times where you're like, man, that was bad, we shouldn't have done that, things went wrong. And those are the moments where you got to remember scriptures like that. Don't grow weary in doing good, because in due time, you'll reap if you don't lose heart. Well, I remember the time when we moved into our first building. We as a church, Hillsong, for 14 years, we didn't have our own building. For 14 years, we hired facilities to have church and to have offices. And so you can imagine after 14 years, moving into our own facility, I mean, this was an incredible, amazing day. And the building, I mean, it was like, wow, we have our own building, guys. Let's treat it well. I mean, that building was so incredible, so amazing. It was like there were angels shining out of the building. I mean, it was our building. We'd never had a building before. Wow, you know, I mean, it's like you walk in, you had to take your shoes off kind of thing. It was, wow, the building. The very first day, we're moving into the building. And I'm moving my gear into my office. And actually, Darren Kiddo, who's doing another workshop, was with me because he was serving as our young adults pastor at the time. And our children's pastor walked past. Now, we love our children's pastor, and our children's pastor loved us. He was a different children's pastor at the time. But we always had this little rivalry going on with the children's pastor. I don't know if that was just us, but you know, we do little things to show that we loved him. For example, you know, he had an office and there was no air conditioning, but he had a fan in his office, so we put sugar on the fan blades so that, you know, he'd go into his office and, you know, the fans would spin and there'd be sugar going everywhere. And another time we told him his office was on fire and he ran in there and we had the smoke machine on full bore, so he just was overwhelmed by smoke coming out of his office. So we used to do things just to show him how much we loved him, cared for him, and really thought about him. And so he's walked past my office and he's made some little smart remark. And so I've turned to Dazza and Dazza's looked at me and we've gone, let's get him. So we've come out of the brand new office that I'm in. We've looked down the corridor and he's just walking away. And we've just said, we're getting you. And we are running down the corridor of the brand new building on the very first day that the building has been opened. He runs into his office. We run in after him and start to just hug him. Just show him how much we love him. Maybe there was a little bit of wrestling going on in the midst of that. But it was just all good Christian fun. As we're doing this, he pushes Dazza back, and Dazza goes back, and his butt goes through the wall. The wall of this guy's office in the brand new building on the very first day that we've moved into the building. It was bad. We had to go up to the general manager's office and he sits us down and he's like, I can't believe you guys did that. He goes, that's it, would you prefer, if you're going to treat the building like that, I'll put the youth ministry team outside on the grass. And I had this picture of us just on the grass next to the road with the building there, all our offices, chairs, phone, just waving at everyone in the building. Hi guys, nice building. You know, there's been times when we've kind of messed up, made mistakes, and thought, hey, I would much rather be doing something else and not receiving things the way I am, or doing things differently. And so many times in those moments, what happens is we leave, we get out of what God's called us to, and we go do something else, we step into something else, and we miss out on seeing the fruit that God has called us to bring forth. Longevity, stick at it, don't give up, don't give in, don't quit, don't grow weary, because you will reap in the right time. The second thing is, what I've found in our leadership journey and what I've seen in our church and in my own life is embrace innovation. In Psalm 40, verse 1 through to verse 3, it talks about someone who cries out. It says, God heard my cry, lifted me out of the pit, placed my feet on a rock. And then it goes on and says, he put a new song in my mouth. You know, when God lifts people out of where their life has been, he puts something new in their heart. And that's what I love about the kingdom, and what I love about the church, is that God is always desiring to bring new things forth from his people. You know, the words of a dying church are always, we've never done it like that before. And sadly, we get afraid to take risks and to embrace innovation. Guys, I want to encourage you. The next generation coming through, they don't have to and shouldn't and won't change the message, but maybe the method is going to look a bit different. And we have to be prepared to embrace that. I've seen the way, you know, Pastor Brian would lead our church, and now I've seen the way, you know, Joel gets involved in different things, and it's a totally different style. The message doesn't change, but what is it doing? It's connecting with a new generation. And sometimes it messes with our head, and it's sometimes things that, you know, we like things to be the way that we enjoy them, but it's not all about us. It's about others. And when we embrace innovation and new and creative ideas, it's amazing how that sparks something within our church, within our ministry, and within our life. So many different examples of innovation, you know, of times when I've seen young people in particular, as I've served in the youth ministry, come up with innovative ways of reaching out and encouraging others and being a blessing, whether it be in church life or whether it be in their schools or however it might be. And it's amazing when you actually put ministry in the hands of others, what ideas they come up with. I think I've talked with you guys before about the idea of Exo Day, that one student, well, a couple of students in one high school, you know how we'll talk to students and we'll say things to them like, guys, you can change the world, change your high school. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And then they're like, how do we do that? What do we do? And so what we had was these guys who said, hey, you know what? We actually want to do that in our high school. We want to show God's love. We want to be a blessing to our school. Why don't we create something at lunchtime that's like the best thing the students have ever seen? We'll give them free food. We'll provide some music. We'll give some stuff away. Let's do some things that are literally going to show them that our Christian faith isn't just something we talk about or we preach about, or we have a prayer meeting once a week, which is cool to do that. Let's go public with this deal of actually showing our love for our fellow students.